guys, today I'm going to be filming my, what month is it? October? October wrap-up. No. Damn. So I just forgot what month it is. Okay, start again. Hi guys, today I'm going to be filming my November wrap-up. This past month, I actually read 8 whole books, which is pretty crazy, because, I don't know, it's not like this month was any easier than any other month for me to read. I just happened to read that many books. I did happen to start, I think, 3 of these books in October, so I did read the majority of those books in October, but I did finish them in November, which is why I'm talking about them in my November wrap-up. And even without those books, I still read 5, which is way more than I've read these past 3 months I've been in school, so yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. So these are the books that I read this month in chronological order. So the first book that I read this month was Slasher Girls and Monster Boys, edited by April Genevieve Chalky. I don't know how to say her last name. This is a short story compilation, book of short stories, I don't know, that are about like slasher girls and monster boys. It's like kind of like creepy stories, and I actually was not planning to read this in October, because I started reading it in October, but I started reading it because there was a read-along going on Tumblr that I wanted to take part in, so I just started reading it. And yeah, so the read-along was to read it like the week before Halloween, so you'd be all creeped up, ready for Halloween, and I did that, but like, I was a little behind in the readathon because, you know, time constraints and stuff, so I did end up finishing it a couple days after October, which is why it's in this wrap-up. I ended up enjoying the compilation. It wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, which was good for me. There were like 2 stories that like legitimately freaked me out, and one of them was just kind of gross for me because I'm just not into like it wasn't zombies, but like dismemberment, I think it was, and one of them was really legitimate and creepy. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars, and my favorite story in it, if you decide to read it or if you already read it, is The Flicker, the Fingers, the Beat, the Sigh, which I thought was like pretty creepy, and which is why I liked it. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. That specific story. If you like want to see my breakdown of each thing, you can look on Goodreads, and I have it there. And just a side note, you should add me on Goodreads because I basically like live blog reading most of my books. Actually, I think it's pretty funny most of the time. Sometimes it's just like exclamation points or whatever. Sometimes I like comment on what's going on in the story. You never know. So add me on Goodreads. It's at Dantanel, I think it is. It's in the down bar. The second book I read in November was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is another book that I started in October and basically finished at the beginning of November. So I read the majority of it in October. And this was a reread for me. I enjoyed rereading it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to because I just think it's been too soon since I last reread it. When I reread things, I try to reread them when I forget most of what's already happened, if that makes sense. Like I know I liked the book, but I basically forgot most of the plot so that I can have more surprises and things. And this one, I basically remembered almost every single thing that happens. So that kind of took away because I feel like a lot of the enjoyment of the story is like, oh, the surprises that pop up. But I did really enjoy it still, and it did remind me why I liked it so much. And I actually revised my star rating because when I originally read it, I think I gave it 4 stars, and this time I did give it 5 stars because the ending did not surprise me, but like I forgot how powerful the ending was for me, and it really was, so I just revised it to 5 stars. And if you're wondering, the book is about a boy whose whole family is killed by a man named Jack, and then he is adopted by the ghosts in the nearby graveyard, and it's just about his life living in the graveyard, living with ghosts, and living that kind of life. And there may or may not be some kind of mystery involved. You'll have to read it to find out. Next, I read Glass by Ellen Hopkins, which is the first book that I read this month that was completely read in November, so yay me. This is the second book in the Crank trilogy by Ellen Hopkins. The Crank trilogy follows the story of a young girl, and she gets sent to visit her biological father. He turns out to be into drugs and doing crystal meth, and he gets the girl, whose name is Christina, also into those things, and it's just about her life from that moment on and what goes on, how she like deals with drug addiction and everything like that. Glass picks up where the first book left off, and I enjoyed it I gave it 4 stars, and I enjoyed it so much so that I ended up picking the last book in the trilogy immediately after that. I found in Glass that Christina was pretty unlikable for me, but it kind of went with the story, so it was okay, but I just wanted to put that in. The 4th book I read in November was Fallout by Ellen Hopkins, which obviously I picked up immediately after. Glass by Ellen Hopkins and Fallout is the 3rd book in the Crank trilogy. I don't want to tell you anything about it because it's the last book in the trilogy, so that's spoilers. I gave it 4 stars, and I do want to say that I think it was my least favorite in the trilogy for reasons that I don't want to say because I think it's a spoiler, so yeah. The next book that I read during November was Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. This is the 3rd book in the Hunger Games trilogy. If you do not already know that, I don't know how you don't know that. You must have been living under rocks. This is a reread for me. Again, I reread it so that it would be fresh in my mind for when I saw Mockingjay Part 2, which I actually just saw today, and it was really good, really sad, really depressing. God, yeah. But like while I was reading this, I was basically in tears the whole time I was rereading this. The first half of the book made me think about all the things that happened in Mockingjay Part 1 when I saw the movie, which was extra sad, and I was just thinking of all the scenes in the movie, and I just want to say that even though it's been a year, I think Mockingjay Part 1 was extremely well done, and I actually liked Part 1 better than Part 2. I was basically bawling the entire time I was reading this book. It was pretty bad. I was just so sad the whole time. But I did see Part 2, and I'm really sad now because that's the end of an era for me. Because my sisters and I go see the movie every year during Thanksgiving break, or it wasn't break for them, but the day after Thanksgiving we go see the movie, or the weekend after Thanksgiving we go see whatever Hunger Games movie is out that year. So that's been our lives for the past 4 years. But we've each read the series, and we're able to compare the books, and yeah, it's really sad that it's over now. And I'm kind of upset about it, so I need to find a new book series for us to watch. And so I actually revised my rating for Mockingjay to 5 stars, because when I originally read it, I guess I gave it 4 stars, but after watching Mockingjay Part 1 and then reading this, I just felt all the emotions, and I really just thought it was really well done. The 6th book I finished in November is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This book is basically all over BookTube. I've been hearing about it basically nonstop, and so I finally took the plunge and read it, and I was not disappointed. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I actually did a review on it, which is hopefully up by now. So if it is up, I will have it linked somewhere on the screen and in the down bar below, and if it's not up, then I'm sorry. So if you want to know my thoughts on that book, you can watch my review. The second to last book that I finished in November is Perfect Scoundrels by Ally Carter. This is the 3rd book in the High Society trilogy, and I was really sad to see it end. This book and this whole trilogy is just a good time. This one was actually not as lighthearted as I wanted it to be, but it was still a good end to the series. I really appreciated it. It's just, I feel like I'm one of Kat's friends. I was ready to join Kat's crew. I'm ready. If anyone needs to commit a heist, I'm ready. I will have your back. I'm ready to join you. And I just really feel like Ally Carter is really good at writing these girls who are just good at being sneaky and stuff. I don't know how to explain it. The Gallagher Girls series is another example, and I was really down with that, and I really liked that one, which is what made me read this one. And now she has another series out, which I don't know what it's called, but I know the first one is called All Fall Down, and I'm really into reading that, and I actually don't even know what it's about, but I am ready to read it. I gave this 4 stars, really enjoyed it. And the last book that I read in November is Grace's Guide, The Art of Pretending to be a Grown-Up. This is one of those YouTuber books, and I actually, I talked about this in that Thanksgiving break reads book, which I'll link down below and somewhere on the screen. And basically, I had no plans to read this whatsoever, but I was in my friend's room, and I saw this book, and I was like, can I read that? And she was like, hell yeah. So I took it, and then I read it. It was a fun read. It's basically just a bunch of anecdotes about Grace's life, and then she has fun little tips that were actually pretty helpful in my opinion. So yeah, and then she has a bunch of funny pictures, and they're worksheets and stuff. Like, those are pretty sparse. But yeah, I appreciated it. I think it's pretty fun. I don't actually watch Grace's videos, so I don't know how in line this is with her channel. But when she collabs with like other YouTubers, I do watch those. And I think she is pretty funny, but like, which is why I picked it up. So those are all the books that I read in November. I will have my November TBR up soon-ish, probably. It might be filmed immediately after I am done recording this one. Who knows? So thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any opinions on any of the books that I read this month, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked seeing me talk about all the books that I'm reading, books in general, then please subscribe to my channel because I make more videos where I talk about books. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!